Our topic for today is women in STEM, or the position of women in STEM. And it's quite different from the other topics because it mostly affects the women here in the US because most of the statistics we found were from facts about here in the US and their position here. So,
Okay, hi guys, I am Omoniola and I'm here to talk to you guys about STEM and just define it for you. Okay, so STEM is basically, it stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. And it's basically like hands-on things, problem-based learning as well. So yeah, next slide. To break down STEM as a whole, basically science. And science is defined as the study of the natural world around us. And science, as you all know, because the classes you take, it breaks down further than that. There's different subcategories into science, which include microbiology, physics, biology itself, AP Bio. It's a lot to do with the science world. Which goes into technology as well, because technology is known to compromise the system that we live by. As you all know, technology really did change our lives for the better, some for the worse. But yeah, technology is a really big part of our lives. And these jobs you see up here are STEM jobs, which range from engineering. Your teachers, your biology teachers, they have to go to school to study specific headings in the STEM. They range from chemical engineers, biologists, biochemical engineers, auditors, animal breeders. So there's a lot of jobs. The list was way longer than this, but I just put a little bit here for you guys to see.
So currently in the STEM field, the STEM field is currently made up of men, and we have a shortage of women in the STEM field. Although 49% of the workforce are women, only 24% work on the STEM field. Compared to the amount of men working in the STEM field, it's really, really low. Although the degrees that men get to work in the STEM field quadruples or triples from that of a woman, like in a year, of the amount of women that get degrees for STEM. And yeah, it's only half. The women only count as half from what a man's is, like when it comes to working in the STEM field. This is so difficult. Okay. So this is a comparison of how many women compared to men and women on the people who got a STEM degree. It started from 1991. As you can see, that men, 1991, about 17,000 got a STEM degree compared to 7,000 from women. In 2011, although the number of women that got STEM degrees did increase, they were still way lower than the men, from men. So this is the graph here. As you can see, the red represents the women and the blue represents men. And you can see how it did increase, but then men are still way up there compared to the red. Yeah.
Okay, so we did a study of the salaries men and women get in STEM. So basically we found out that even though you do the same job, that men can get more money than women. It says a man gets $36.34 an hour, while a woman gets $31.11 an hour, and that's about an 86-cent difference. And now those are really small, not that big. It really multiplies throughout a week and a year and 3 years and all that. So basically, you can do the same job. That doesn't mean you're going to have the same salary. Okay, so the number of female scholarly awards winners is only half of what it should be given to the number of PhDs. Math, 13% of PhDs are given to women, and in genetics, 25% of PhDs are given to women. In math, only 4 to 5% get the scholarly award winners out of the 13%, and 6% get it out of the genetics, 25%. Okay. Hi. So evaluators were given 2 resumes, like this is an experiment. Evaluators given 2 resumes. They just named one Karen and one Brian, and they were trying to look at which one they wanted. 25% of male evaluators favored Brian compared to 15% that favored Karen. And 25% of female evaluators favored Brian over the 12 to 13% favored Karen. So basically Brian won. That's really unfair to me, but that's just the way things are for now.
To piggyback on what I was talking about before in my third slide, then I'll go into this later. So yeah, for STEM jobs, the salary of the STEM jobs listed average from about 50 grand to 750 grand. But this amount of money that you receive from your job only depends on like the level of academics the level of education you achieve from your school system. So it depends what you major in that gets your the amount of money you receive. But that's where stereotypes come into play, because just because women, like for instance, John majors in microbiology, I major in microbiology, and we both go into the microbiology field, doesn't mean I'm going to make the same amount of money as John. John can make more money than me. So the effects of stereotypes. As you all know, most of your topics have been revolved around stereotypes, like Natalie's project, stereotypes. All the things we talked about basically revolve around stereotypes, and we've been placed in stereotypes our entire lives. So, the effects of stereotypes. We're going to go back to middle school. In studies, female subjects score poorly when they are told that boys are better than them and that these stereotypes are allowed to occur. So, in class, boys are better, whatever. Females tend to get insecure and they don't do well on their tests. But studies show that when females scored higher when they were told that gender does not affect their performance in their tests. So when they're not told that they're not as good as boys, they do better on their tests than when people tell them that boys are better than them. So statistics show that they tend to do well when they're not discouraged.
So, when building up on the shortage of women in STEM and the effect of stereotypes, one of the branches of STEM that's really affected by the shortage of women is the field of computer science. Computer science is a study of the principles and uses of computers, because computer science. And now we have a shortage of women, and we need you, everyone, to try and get interested in it. So the advantages of computer science is that even with a bad economy, people who are in computer science get hired likely after college. People who study in the field of computer science get a higher chance of getting a job. Women who work in this field earn a median of $1,253 per week, compared to a teacher who's $887 a week, or a healthcare or a nurse, which is $970 a week. Last year, an average salary of a computer science degree woman is $59,977 from $57,529 from 2012. So the amount you get for working in the field of computer science is increasing as technology progresses. So, yeah. So in a way, one way we can attract more females to the field of computer science is by having more programs to get them involved in it. Just as how boys are excited about video games, maybe there's a way for also girls to get excited about computer science. Like, not just, there should be programs in schools where we introduce coding or stuff like that. And maybe exposure to research projects like Capstone, or maybe we can have them interact with successful people from the field of computer science. And I think that will make a better difference in the gap.
Okay, so overall, there are more advantages in working in a STEM field than there are in working in any other field. The most important one is you get a higher salary because, I mean, like, if you go to college and you study, like, what's that thing everyone studies? Psychology, and you come out, you're most likely not to get a job, or if you get a job, it's not gonna be, like, anything serious. But if you go in and study, even, like, biology, you're more likely to get a job, even if it's not really that big of a deal. So, I have a person that studies like petroleum engineering and all that. They make about $120,000 a year, but someone that works with childhood education gets $36,000. And actually knowing about STEM and all that can really help you in your daily life. Like, you have an upper head and advantage because you don't also have to pay someone to fix something if you're working computer engineering and all that. So, I mean, it really gives you an upper hand. Plus, it gives you a lot of experience and stuff.
Okay, so to add on to what she's saying, I know that science is not really my favorite subject as well, but you don't have to like be as interested. You can minor in like biology or microbiology, because as she said, it does make you ahead of your peers when you are aware of the STEM field. So also majoring in STEM in the STEM field can give you an upper leg on the college experience because you know more, because college is really science-based, to be honest. So studying science, technology, engineering, or math will not be the simplest task you've ever done because it's very hard. It's a lot of studying, but it will teach you like a large set of skills right away that might take other majors years to master. This includes like time management, organization skills, proper report writing, note-taking. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics can really help you develop other skills in which you lack. It can help you in reading, social studies, it can help you in areas you don't even imagine. But me personally, I know that I'm not as interested in like, if anything out of all the acronym, I'm most interested in science, like microbiology, instead of...
The projector just went out on its own, but it looks like you were finished anyway with the slides.
Yeah.
So
out of all the acronyms, I'm most interested in science. So nobody's telling you to major in something you're not interested in. You can minor in it and then learn, and then you may become interested in it. So don't let statistics define you, because as you all know, we've been put into stereotypes our whole life. So if you're interested in science, don't be afraid to come into it, because it's actually very interesting.
And you don't need to be good at science or
Exactly.
mathematics to get into it. I know a lot of people who like suck at mathematics, but then they end up working in a field that consists of mathematics.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily, you go to school for that reason if you're not good at it. Like, if you find it interesting, I suggest that you should jump in and join.
Can I add, like, my mom's French is packaging engineer and she designs like Victoria's Secret packaging. So it sounds like science.
Exactly.
There you go.
You can be interested in, see, a lot of things you guys don't know comes into the STEM, like
Yeah.
people who package your food, all of that, even the Forever 21 bags you're carrying around,
It's packaging.
the people who design the buildings, that all fits into STEM. You can like your job, don't get me wrong, don't go into something you don't like to
Yeah.
do. So it can all be fun and dandy, but at the same time, you're just ahead of your
There's more
peers.
job placement than like lawyers.
Exactly.
Give it a opportunity to live inside you.
Yeah.
And also, don't just say, oh, I'm going to be a doctor or something. You should do some research, because a lot of people don't want to stay in school that long and all that wonderfulness. April, you have something to
Yes.
say?
Yeah, what are some of the careers for STEM?
Like I said before, there was biologists, animal breeders, like people who deal with animals. I didn't even know that until I researched it. So people who deal with animals, also doctors are into the STEM field, but that's just too broad, like physical therapy, stuff like that. A lot of fields we go into, like medicine, pharmaceuticals.
But you said something about design.
Yeah,
That's
designers.
packaging.
Computer design.
Like even making makeup, that's like come up with
That's
stuff.
STEM?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know.
Exactly.
People don't know.
Everything around you is STEM.
Even like Brazilian hair and Indian hair. Yes.
Of course, Omoniola would.
Yes.
Engineered hair, engineered makeup.
Yes, of course.
You
So
can even
yeah.
engineer babies if you want.
And that makes
What? Yes.
A lot.
Lots of money.
It ranges from 50 grand. That's even the when you're just starting. You could be like an assistant,
Yeah.
all the way to $750,000
Guys, I'm gonna be a STEM
a
person.
year.
Make money.
Okay, I had a couple of quick questions. One, you were talking about computer science as being one that women should get into. Is there any evidence of gender inequality in the computer sciences?
Yes. Recently, the White House has hosted, I think it was last year, they hosted like a day focused on coding. But when I checked up on that, because like I was also interested in coding, it was mostly about coding to encourage girls to start coding. Because it's not like it's affecting the industry, it's just that the gender demographics when it comes to that field is mostly men. And I guess we want more variety in the people that work in that field. Even the White House, they have a whole, I have it in my bibliography, they have a whole website on worksheets or like fact sheets about this whole gender thing in coding, I guess. Yeah, it's mostly in coding, but computer science as a whole is affected by it.
Also to add on what John said, my dad is actually a computer scientist. So, I'm not really into that stuff, to be honest, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. But he tried to encourage me to, come learn this and that and the third. I'm not interested in it. But he tells me like, in his field, like he works in the Pentagon, he works also right next to the White House, I don't know what it's called. But he tells me there's about ratio in his job, there's only like 1 to every 8 males, 1 female to every 8 males in his job. And I'm just like, whoa. He's just like, that's because people are not interested. And then the people who come to like, to turn in their resume, females that turn in their resume to his job, they're just a joke. They didn't really go to college. And they just are looking for something to do. So don't let that stop you in college and stuff. Major in, or you can minor in it. You can still get a job like that, like a computer scientist job.
My second question is, did you find any evidence of discrimination in the field once you are in STEM?
I found. Sorry, guys.
Okay, go ahead.
I remember I was doing some research, and this is a really long article, and she was talking about, because she went to Yale, and she studied something, but she was like, when she was in class, there was like no guys in there, and even like, because this high school that she went to, it wasn't like a really good high school, and they were like, you're a girl, you don't need to be taking chemistry and all that. So when she got into like Yale and stuff, she was like, I was so far behind, and all the guys were like, you shouldn't be here, and even like her counselor said she shouldn't be here, so she like dropped out. But she eventually went back and finished. But she doesn't do anything in STEM anymore, but she still has her degree.
To add on to that, I also read an article, and I actually visited the Princeton campus when I was in the 8th grade. So there was a story about this one girl. I think she was like Indian or something. She traveled from abroad, and she wanted to major in engineering. And you know, what are those people called that help you in college? Your advisors.
Counselors.
Counselors, advisors. Her advisor actually told her that science is not for girls and this, that, and the third. And she went to Princeton, and she was so discouraged. And then she started failing and this, that, and the third. So evidently, whatever, the advisor was just like, oh, you won't do good in that program. And because of what she heard, she actually didn't do good in the STEM field. So I feel like when females want to like pursue it, they always like back them down or push them down because not a lot of females do it. So yeah, that's what happened overall.
But as we've mentioned before, the biggest sign of discrimination in the STEM field, and when you're actually in it, is the amount of money they give you, the salaries. And that's probably one of the, that probably answers your question. That's one of the subtle things that people don't notice, but it's really, when you look at it in a graph, it makes a huge difference. It's the salary. That's one of the signs of discrimination in the STEM field. Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay, thank
Any
you.
more questions? Oh, you have a question?
Yes.
So you know how you guys said computer science has the least women? So I guess which what has the most women in STEM, like I guess you would say?
I'd say maybe physics. There's a lot of women interested in physics these days. Or
I think
like when you
also
do biology, or chemistry, or something like that.
because they major in bio, like people who are pharmacists, that deals with STEM. So there's a lot of female pharmacists. So I guess the medical field is
Nursing.
really
Yeah,
nursing.
well,
There's a lot of
like
female,
nursing.
a lot of female nurses.
But of
But
course that's changing.
exactly.
It's
And
always changing.
I think nursing has the least amount to do with STEM, to be honest. I mean, yeah, you have to go to school and stuff, but after all, it doesn't really revolve around all categories of STEM: science, technology, engineering, mathematics.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When I was in the 9th grade, my biology teacher told me that engineering was one of the categories that they want mostly women, and especially, I don't want to sound like racist, but she said black women in engineering because they have less women and more men and like less, I guess, people of color in that field, and so
That's true as well.
They're actually like
Yes.
they have scholarships for that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry guys.
So
They have scholarships for that. They have like scholarships for like black women going into STEM and then black women and men going into engineering. And that's because engineering is really broad. Like it's really broad. So they're like, even if you do like a small portion of engineering, it's still good. It'll still give you somebody to go to school.
I used to live in California, and I went to UCLA, and then most of the people there in the engineering department were either Asians or white, and then they were mostly men and some were women. There was like it was very few to see a woman there or a woman of color. So yeah.
I feel like the problem is no one tells like kids in school of all the opportunities like engineering has. Like there's so many
That's true. I
jobs
agree.
Exactly.
and there's like so much money and people oh okay like a lawyer.
That's why
I
we need
agree.
more STEM programs.
Definitely, because like my church like sponsors a lot of programs, and they bring different people from like STEM people, engineers. They have like robotic. Dial had like this robot.
I made a radio.
She made a
guys.
radio or something like that. So and I know people aren't going to spoon feed you. So definitely search it because you can get a lot of money. It's not even funny. You can go to college for free, all 4 years, get your master's free. If you do like something that's minored in, like engineering, a lot of people are starting to do engineering now because they go to college for free. Like my cousin, he did engineering because he likes stuff like that. But he went to college for free, 4 years, full ride, housing,
was that
everything.
was
Free.
that in high school though? Like did he do it in high school or did he wait?
Do it in high school.
You said he did engineering in high school. Like,
Well, they had a class. Also, that's what's wrong with like PG County. They don't really have.
Yeah.
STEM
yeah, I
classes.
guess
They don't
we
have
should
a
coding
class
class
of
of
engineering.
engineering.
Yeah, like one school is really good, of course.
I
Rose
started-
has a lot of STEM classes, so they get a lot of scholarships.
Yeah.
But we're getting
All
more
that stuff
STEM programs
help
in
kids.
PG County though.
And if you
I said,
do
do we
want
have
more
a-
I said
STEM
there is an
programs,
increase
look up
in
online.
STEM programs in PG County.
Well,
though.
well now.